Woke up this morning, box scores in my head. Coffee on the counter, hobby ain't dead. Vinny don't blink when he's calling it straight. Joe's breaking down your season, ERA and fate. You can spin your numbers, you can sell your hype, but if it smells like nonsense, they'll call it out on the mic. No sugar.
Well, welcome, folks, to the Below Replacement Level show. We have a most special guest, a longtime friend, Keith Avallone from Plaay Games and Play.com. We're blessed to have him. Keith, we know you're busy. So I'm here with my co-host, Joe Cards.
Welcome, Keith.
Greetings.
Pleasure to have you.
Yo, Vinny, Joe, good to be here. You know, you look a lot different on camera than you do in person.
Me or Vinny?
Yeah, well, no, Vinny looks pretty much the same, but you look different.
Because he grew his hair out.
Because I'm red?
No, I don't know. It's like maybe it's the headphones that you still look different. I don't know. I've seen you in person a couple times.
I lost a lot more weight since we last knew each other. I've lost a total of 70 pounds.
Oh my
in the
God.
last year and a half.
That's probably it then.
Yeah.
That's probably it. Well, congrats. That's a milestone.
Yeah,
Thank you.
he looks great. You could see him.
As we get
walking.
older, our health is extremely important.
Yes,
For
absolutely.
sure. That's all we got.
So
If you don't have that, you don't have anything. So yeah, welcome. You have a lot going on. We have a lot to catch up on. I haven't seen you since Canton.
Mm-hmm.
yes, it was. It wasn't
August.
that long ago. It was August. So
Mhm.
yeah, it's been a while.
Feels longer. And you've had so much going on since
We
then.
played. Where did we play? Where did we play our New York Stars Southern California Sun game? That was at Digital DiceCon,
Yeah,
right?
see, I wasn't going to bring that up
Yes,
because I want
yes.
you in a good mood. I
That
didn't
was.
want-
That was memorably brutal.
That's when that's right before you introduced the XHL.
That's right. We
sat down and played the game.
That's right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly right.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, that set went over big.
Yeah, that's been huge. I'm trying to decide whether. So we're out of stock on the XHL mat, and I'm just trying to decide whether to bring it back in stock or not. I mean, I'm not sure how long the XHL buzz will last. I don't know. Probably for another season. So I'll probably get some more. Probably need to get some more XHL mats. Those are cool.
Yeah, I'm
do
just
another poll. See if guys, like you did last time, if guys are going to buy it.
Well,
You
yeah,
know?
maybe we'll see. Sometimes it's good to leave them wanting more
Mm-hmm.
rather than hang around. And I mean, that's an old showbiz maxim. It's better to leave them wanting more than to overstay your welcome.
I
So
get it.
I think
Like
it
company.
Yeah, I think it works with sports game releases as well.
I know if you came out with another XHL, well, if you came out with another XHL season, I'd be buying it.
Yeah, I don't know that I think the XHL
But
is
the demand has to be yes.
an evergreen set that you could play over and over again. Switch the
Yes.
players. I might release like a new set of free agents
Mm-hmm.
each year
Mhm.
that you could mix in. But I sort of envision the XHL as an evergreen set.
Yes.
Indefinitely.
And I could see that so many, just your imagination. It's all it's up to. You could do so much with it.
Mm-hmm.
We've been running an XHL co-op, and it's been just super fun. In fact, we're about ready to wrap it up. I finished in last place.
See, you got to put
I
the
was sorry I missed that.
secret sauce on your team, your card. So maybe you have
thought
to
I
do one
did.
more.
I had Nate McKinnon and the hometown star, but I will say I joined late, and so I had to take what was left over. I got stuck. I say I got stuck with British Columbia. Out of 20 teams, they're kind of middle of the pack. So it's a 12-team league. So pretty much everybody's better than me.
Okay.
There were 8 teams that did not participate in our XHL co-op. Eight of the franchises, and those were like the bottom team. So being the middle of the pack with a superstar or two is usually good enough in a well-balanced league. But in a co-op league where everybody's better than you, but it was still a lot of fun. It really was.
I'm sure.
Oh,
I'm sure.
yeah.
And I got to say, I love how you get involved. Not only because you get to play once in a blue moon, because I know how busy you are, but I probably don't know how really busy you are, but we get an inkling of it. And you still carve out time the way you do. The one show I'm looking forward to is when you go on with Grant, because I want to hear about all the baseball America moves. I think
Yeah.
it's fantastic. So that you get involved in that, I think it's kudos to you. And I know the guys appreciate you being around. I mean, me and Joe talk about just getting down to sit and play a game with you instead of just talking. And yes, we got to break bread, but we just all
Yeah, I wish I could play more. We've got 12 different sports games, not to mention the Play Now games.
Hmm.
So to get them all on my game table regularly is really hard. But I do love to play as much as I can. I think it's good. So.
And I get it. Me and Joe discuss that all the time, right, Joe? Cad?
Yes, we always do. And I know you love to play.
I do.
I could see that when we
Yeah.
played together the 2 times, once in Digital to Dice and then in Canton when we played in the hotel. I could see you have a passion, which leads me to something I was thinking. So before you even created your games, were you a big board game player?
Oh yeah. Okay. I grew up. Of course, we're all kind of from the same era, and it was the era pre-video games.
Right.
You had TV, and that was about it. And in my case, I grew up in a small town in Wisconsin, and there really wasn't much TV even. I mean, you had the lacrosse. Lacrosse was the big city, quote unquote, like 20,000 people at the time. And they had 2 TV stations. They had a CBS station and a ABC station, which was very difficult to get, low power. And then there was an NBC station in Eau Claire. So you kind of had the 3 networks, and that was really about it.
Okay.
And there was no video games. There was no internet. So we played board games. We had, we came from a pretty, I wouldn't say low class family, lower middle class probably would be better to describe it. So we didn't have a lot of money to spend on stuff, and so we played board games, and we would make our own board games because we couldn't afford to buy them. We'd make our own board games,
Right.
And so yeah, I've always loved board games, all kinds of different board games. But the sports games kind of really caught my fancy when I kind of became interested in professional sports, and so it's kind of natural that I would sort of gravitate in that direction. But I do love all games, and I like playing them all.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
you could see it.
Yep. I'm going to take you back a bit. So I know you when you were doing the DJ stuff.
That's right. I think we've known each other 30 years.
It is.
Wow.
It is.
And back 30 years ago, I was a disc jockey in Dallas.
God bless you, Keith, for knowing him 30 years. No.
Yeah. Well, my wife stuck around for 31, married. So
I'm sorry. So you were saying
Keith's not far behind.
No, I'm just saying. Yeah, I was.
But
it's disc jockey back in those days.
Yeah, because I was talking to Mike Owens. We're going to have him on Friday in a live chat, and I didn't know he was sharing with me that he was one of your first second season testers, also. 25 years ago.
Back before. Yeah. He was, if not 30, close to it. There was a group of us that we all kind of connected on. What was it? Gordon, the sports game. It was a sports game bulletin board back in the days when you'd have like a bulletin board on the internet. It was like when the internet first started. What was his name?
I don't remember that.
Gordon, I think was his last name. Gosh, I can't believe. I guess I'm just getting old. I'm losing my memory now.
Oh, join the club.
I think it was Jim Gordon. I think was his name.
Jim Gordon.
Oh, yes,
That's
Jim
it.
Gordon.
You got Jim Gordon. See, I would have never got it. You got it. You're still there. That's why I tell you, you're the GOAT
Is it
of
the same
creating
Jim?
games.
Is it the same Jim Gordon?
I don't know. As who? Is
As
there
who?
no?
Announcer? Was he an announcer also?
No,
I don't
know.
not
Oh,
that Jim.
okay.
I don't think so. Well, maybe.
Maybe I don't know.
I don't know.
I never know. But he ran like it was what you do is you'd email him like your content, and then he would once a week
Right.
post it on a
Oh, wow.
kind of a group email. Really, this is really what it was. I think it wasn't you. There was no interaction. Like you couldn't like comment on a comment or comment on a post. Aside from emailing Jim, and then he would include that in his next, and he would compile all these and then send it out. Like I think it was weekly, and
Good
that's
memory.
how I connect. That's how we connected. And that's how Michael and I connected, and a number of guys. There's a number of guys that go back that far.
Yeah.
That would be between 1996 and 1999, roughly.
Yeah, I would think so because I was probably just married, and then Carmelina was born in '96. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, I remember you and I had an AOL chat. I don't know if you remember it. We chatted on AOL. It was an AOL. I remember your comments were in blue and mine were in red.
Chat room.
I don't know if it was.
No, it was private chat.
No, it was a private. Yeah, it was like a private chat. It's something. It's like antiquated now. I mean,
yeah.
But I remember we talked for probably an hour. Just I had that transcript. I looked at it, not recently, but within the past 10 years. I saved a copy of that transcript. And I looked at it within the past 10 years, but I cannot find it. I don't know where it is.
Oh my goodness, what a memory that would be.
It might be on a long since dead machine. I don't know.
Wow.
But yeah, I did save it. It was we talked about we talked exclusively about second season because that's the only game I had at the time.
Yep.
But yeah.
I'll never forget when I first set it up. I was like, this guy's wow, how did he do this? Like, because all I knew was really Strat football and the computer stuff that was still old. You know what I mean? It wasn't like it is today, obviously.
Right.
And I only played Strat, the board game. And then when I saw your game, I'm like, this is the greatest solo football engine I could have ever imagined. With a 0, 1, and 2 ratings. I remember telling you, like, Keith, this is a hit. This was a hit.
Right. And, well, thank you. I appreciate that.
And it's still a hit.
It's still,
It's
essentially the same game. You know, it hasn't really changed. What's changed is, the team cards have changed. You know, instead of having Y grades of 5, now you've got Y grades of 1 and 2. You know, and the field goal kickers, instead of having a field goal grade of C or D, it's like quadruple A.
Now, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Some guys are kicking 65-yard field goals these days, right?
Yeah. So,
you know, speaking of second season, me and Mike were talking. Did it have the plus and minus ratings back then?
It always did. Yes.
It did. Okay.
Did. Well, in the version that you knew, originally it did not. But that would be back in the 80s, maybe. Back when I was first developing it in the early 80s, I don't think it did not have the plus and minus. That was a development long later, but it's always been in any published version of the game.
Well, and then came the life-changing and the hobby-changing decision that you made, because you're so humble, Keith. You really are. And I don't joke when me and Joe say it, Jamie. You are the most creative sports game, not even sport, everything now. Now you have every genre. You are the most creative. And I think it was solidified when we spoke to Al Wilson and he talked about how he was sitting across the table from you and you suggested about putting the time on the fast action cards for fast drive football.
Yeah, Keith was like, what's the big deal? Just put them on the fast action cards. Yeah. And he was like, I didn't think of that.
Yeah.
Well, I've always kind of zigged when other people zag.
Mm-hmm.
That's just kind of the way my personality is, for better and often for worse.
I don't know about that.
Vinny will tell you. So when we met at Digital to Dice, I got to play with you, but we kind of got a little more social because we were in the hotel in the Canton.
Right.
And Vinny will tell you, I've said it 1,000 times, like, I could see, like, when we were having conversations, like, your mind going, like, if I could do another version of this game or an add-on. Vinny, how many times have I said that to you?
Yeah.
We've joked sometimes, like when we have a chat, and Play Games come up, and I'll say, be careful, Keith might be listening. He's going to come out with another game right now.
Another game, right? Yeah, I'm always thinking of new games. Roarball. Just saw the movie Roar. I just saw the movie The Goat, the animated. It's like a basketball movie. It's Roarball that they play, and I mentor this inner city kid. We get together once a week, and he loves basketball. So we went to see this movie. It's a great movie, by the way, really great. But I have to confess that going into it, thinking, Roarball, I got to watch this closely and see how it works. But
You know, that's the other side of you, Keith. That
Amazing.
just, I don't know if people know that you are just,
I know what Vinny's
your
going.
heart is just
oh,
incredible. Your heart is
oh,
incredible for the Lord. Your heart is incredible for other people. And you've been mentoring this boy for a while now.
couple years.
Yeah. Well, some people don't stick out more than a month. They leave. They say they're mentoring, but they're not mentoring.
Oh,
And it's,
we've had a great time. He's a great kid.
that is
I
awesome.
love him. He's you know,
That's great.
I think it brings more to my life than I bring to his, to be honest with you. But it's good for me to, it's good for people to get out of their comfort zone and to,
Hmm.
to do for others.
Well, I'm
Absolutely.
sure he's blessed too, but I get it. When you can grab onto and latch onto a little one like that and shape them properly or help shape them, we don't shape them, if
Yeah.
you could just give them life's lessons the right way. And because with all the junk that's out there today,
Yeah,
and
it's
I
tough.
know
It's
with
tough
you,
because I'm not his parent, so I
Mhm.
limited. I can only go so far
Mhm.
with the kind of input. But I was told I was hesitant to get into this program, to be honest with you, because well, for a number of reasons. But I was told, look, the main thing, 90% of this is just showing up,
right.
just being there. Just 90. That's 90% of it. So I've taken that to heart, and that's sometimes all I do. But
That's awesome.
That's
we
great, man. God
Now,
bless
have you broke him in gaming? Does he play
yeah,
any
we do play games. We
prime time?
not this. He likes basketball, but I haven't got him into like prime time yet. We've played mainly like non-sports games.
Okay.
We played a lot of Pokemon.
Okay.
We've played. He likes anime, and
Ah,
there's quite a few anime board games out there. There's a One Piece board game that I got him for Christmas, and we've played that numerous times. And that's a fun game to play, and it's something he's interested in. What else we played? We played Thunder Road. That's that old. So there's a new game, Thunder Road. Restoration Games came out with a new version of Thunder Road. Thunder Road is a game. Maybe you remember it. It was when we were kids. It came out in like I think it was the early '80s or late '70s. I don't want to say late '70s. But Milton Bradley game. It's basically kind of like the Mad Max movie. You're
Oh,
racing,
wow.
you're racing cars, and you're shooting at each other, and you each get 3 cars, and the idea is to try to destroy the other team's cars or outrun them, because there are 2 boards. They're interlocking boards, and this was an idea that I applied to Aviatrix, by the way. There were interlocking boards, and when all the cars move off one board, when the first car moves off the second board, then everything that's on the first board gets dumped, and it becomes the new second board. You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yep.
So anything that's on the original board, when the first car goes off the second board, gets dumped, and that board then becomes the new board. And so it's a game of attrition. You have to keep moving fast, but you're also, you have like guns, and you're trying to you have a helicopter that's flying over, and you're attacking.
Oh, that's great.
It's
a Mad
crazy.
Max. Yeah, it's Mad Max. Yeah.
Mad Max, right? It's Mad Max. The game was published for, I don't know, a couple of years, 2, 3, 4 years, late '70s, early '80s, whenever the Mad Max movies came out, and then it got went out of print. And a company called Restoration Games brought it back, and this was like, I want to say 3, 4 years ago, at most 4 years ago, and they made an upgraded version of it, which it's got a lot more complex rules, nicer parts, more parts.
Oh, no.
It's a fun game. There's a lot to it that I like, but and this is where me and Sam disagree. Sam loves the new game. I like the old game because it's simpler. He doesn't like the old game because it's simpler.
Right.
So, but I thought this is a great game. So Marco was over, and he was looking, and he looked at the new version, and I said, I've got the original, but this is the version that I played when I was a kid. It's much easier. Which do you want to play? So let's play the old version. So we got out the old version and played that. It was super fun. We had a great time.
I'll bet.
So,
I got to look into that for my nephews, because one of them he loves sports. He loves football, and I had him bring over a game he got for Christmas. I'm always going to forget the name of it, but it's a simple game. You have play cards. We're just playing the basic version. So you match up.
NFL Showdown, or it might be.
Boom, you got it.
Showdown. Yeah.
We played that. I played that a couple nights ago with another kid that is in our church small group. He came over and he wanted to play that. I like that game.
It's fun.
It's got the rookie, the rookie cards, and then you can upgrade to the more complex. I forget what they call it. There's a second set of cards.
Yes,
it has more choices and and it's a little more complex. But yeah, and you got the thing that kicks the field goal.
Yeah, I can't get it off the ground.
You're kidding. It's super easy. Come on, Vinny.
No, even my nephew's like, how do you do this, Uncle Vinny? I said, oh, it's easy. You just put it. No, let me set it up right.
Oh, man. You should be able to kick like 80-yard field goals with that thing.
I figured you could. We'll have to work on it, but he loved it.
We're going to have to get Vinny. You remember the guy who used to hit his head and he'd kick the field goal?
Oh, yeah.
The uprights. I can't remember.
No, you don't need that. NFL Showdown is just, and you can get it at Target now. They sell it at Target. So.
Really? Oh.
Yeah,
he got it for Christmas.
Available.
NFL show, so it's not the original one like MLB Showdown. This is a new one.
No, it's a new game. It's put up by Buffalo Games. You can order from Buffalo Games as well.
NFL Showdown,
and
it's cheap. It's like $20.
It's ridiculous. I don't know how.
We'll be in Target tomorrow.
Maybe more.
You might want to get online and make sure it's there. Make sure it's in stock. They'll have it, but it might say you might have to a different Target that has it in stock. But yeah, it's cool. It's super easy.
Yeah, he loved it.
And you get the little NFL logos that you can put on the stick to the scoring tree.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
He loves his football. And when he was looking at, I think they're advanced or pro. I think they're called.
Yeah, I think it's the pro version. Yeah.
And he's like, Uncle Vinny, what is this? The drop it because he knows. He's like, Joe came to my house one time. He had a game. I think a 6 o'clock game, and he's 7 now. And he's on the floor with his iPad watching football on YouTube, studying film.
And his mom said to me, Vinny introduces me to his mom, and she goes, this is my son. And the kid's laying on the floor, and he's got an iPad, and he's watching football. Wow. And she says, the father goes, he's got a game in 3 hours, but he studies film. So that's your niece, right, Vinny?
Yeah.
She says to me, yeah, I don't know. I says, are you kidding me? That's incredible. 7 years old and he's studying film. That's incredible.
It's a different era, isn't it?
He's a good little athlete too, but he's always the smallest one on the team. He ain't afraid enough. But
he has to watch the movie Goat then, because it's about this goat, this tiny goat that's competing against all these massive animals. Yeah, he should watch that.
I'll take him.
You should take him.
I would. I love hanging around him and his brother. They're two just.
If he's a little guy,
wonderful boy.
He will love that movie. He will love that movie.
He's always the smallest. Nobody's closer to. He's the smallest.
You gotta take him to that. You guys will love it.
That would be great. That would be great.
I'll definitely check it out.
So yeah, so you moved on to second season football after you left the disc jockey work and all, and then you decided. Well, you didn't decide. There was a lot of thought and prayer that went into it to go full time with a game company. I don't remember what the second game was that started launching everything.
Well, so that's mostly correct. When I was in Dallas, I started up Plaay.com. I was still working full-time radio, and I did the second season. Face to the Mat was the second game. There were 3 games. There was second season, Face to the Mat, and First Contact. Those 3 games were the first Plaay Games. That was in 2000. Actually, 1999 is when I launched my first website. It was secondseasonfootball.com, and then the guy that set it up for me. Of course, in those days, you couldn't set up your own website. You just somebody who knew how to do it. And this guy was kind of fly by night, so he set it up. And then one day the site was down. I tried to call him, I couldn't reach him. It's like, well, I guess. And he was just flown down. So then I set up my own site. I got the Dreamweaver software. And I figured as long as I never really liked the URL secondseasonfootball.com because I thought it was too long. It was too many letters. I wanted to, of course, we're talking 1999, the internet was a lot younger then. And I wanted a small URL, short. And so that's what I wanted with Plaay.com with 2 A's. I wanted PLAY, but that was taken. And I circled around a couple of different ideas, but it kept coming back to Plaay.com. And so I went with it because only 5 letters. And try getting a 5-letter URL today. It's impossible.
Really?
So I launched it with those 3 games. Second season, Face the Mat, and First Contact. And I did that, and I added new games pretty much annually. I think the first one I added was Roller Rumble, the roller derby game.
Love that.
And then I added Crash and Scramble, which was a lacrosse game. My strategy that became kind of to make sports board games for sports that didn't have a sport. So I did roller derby. I did bowling. I did lacrosse, and then the radio industry was going through quite a bit of upheaval at the time, with deregulation and consolidation. Back in the day, a company could only own 7 radio stations. That's all you could own nationwide. And it made for a large number of owners, but they changed that. They deregulated it, and it changed the whole landscape. And not to spend a lot of time talking about radio, but for all my radio career, the idea was you want to be a specialist. You want to be really good at something. Either you want to be a good program director or a good music director, have a really good ear for picking hits. You wanted to be a good promotions director, get a lot of buzz going about your radio station. You wanted to be a really good disc jockey, and you wanted to focus. The radio stations the good radio stations would focus on hiring really skilled specialists. Like in the NFL, you get a quarterback. You don't expect the quarterback to be a good linebacker, or a good wide receiver. He's the quarterback, and that's what he's going to focus on. That's the way radio was until deregulation. Then all of a sudden it became, well, you got to do more than one job. We have to cut our costs. We're gonna cut costs. We're gonna make it more efficient. And now you've got to do more than one thing.
Wow.
So it was a complete shift of thinking. And so suddenly, I've been a disc jockey for so many years. Now all of a sudden I was needing to do other things. And that was kind of crimping into my, board game stuff. I had been doing other things. I've been doing, board games, my website. Well, I had to make a choice. I couldn't do both. I either had to devote all my time to radio or devote all my time to board games. So I chose radio. And I shut down Play.com in 2004. I passed along second season. I gave the rights to publish second season to Pete Ventura at Replay Games, and he published it for 5 years.
I remember that.
And I did radio. I focused on radio, and that's what took us to Denver. The radio wagon train brought us here, and you wouldn't believe it. I was doing like 14-hour days. I'd get up, but I had to do. I would catch a 6 a.m. train to get into the radio station by 7. I was doing like music director responsibilities for the big hot AC station. I was doing a live midday show on the hot AC station and a voice tracked show, quote unquote live show on the oldies station simultaneously. I was in 2 stations at once.
Wow.
I had to get in there and I had to record my tracks for the oldies station and then do my show on the hot AC station. And then after that, I worked with promotions and also did I programmed an HD1 station that was.
Oh my goodness!
It was crazy. It was crazy, and anyway, that it was a series of downsizing as the station. So I don't know whether I should tell the story or not. It's how we got to Denver, but it was definitely God's hand. I've been working in Dallas, scrambling to find a radio job because it was going through downsizing there too. I was at a salary level that they didn't want to sustain I was doing the night show on the big country station in Dallas. Anyway, so I was scrambling to try to find a job, and I remember I was, as you've alluded to, Vinny, I'm a person of faith. Have been praying a lot about it, and really putting it in the hands of God. And I keep a journal. It's something that I've done for years. I've done it for over 30 years. I have a journal that I keep, and I was keeping my journal. It was Mother's Day of 2007, and me and my wife, I'd taken my wife and the kids, we'd gone out to lunch and the kids were off doing something and my wife was going to take a nap and I was sitting there with my journal and just kind of praying about it. And I said, God, I know that you can give me a good radio job, in the blink of an eye. How much longer must I wait? And I was putting the dot on the question mark, writing that in my journal. The phone rang. And it was program director in Denver saying, I'm going to offer you a job. It's like,
Wow.
I was like, whoa. So immediately, it was like, well, I can't say no to that. But man, did I want to, because I'm thinking, I'm telling God, look, this is going to be another 3-year radio job. I'm going to get to Denver and it's going to last 2 or 3 years like it always does. And then I'm going to be out, except now instead of being in Dallas where all my friends are, all my family is, I'm going to be in Denver. So, but how could you say no? When you ask God to move like that, and He does, you got to follow through. So we sold the house in Dallas. We moved to Denver, and guess what? Within 3 months, they announced they were selling the station, and that CBS I came to the CBS stations here in Denver. It was a Cool 105 and Mix 100 and The Wolf.
But God had a plan for you.
Right. That's true. But I didn't see it at the time.
See it, right.
So, anyway, long story short, the stations went up for sale like 3 months after I got here. I said, see, and I was telling God, see, this is exactly what I said would happen. This is exactly what I said would happen. And then in 2000, I managed to make it through 2008 by taking more and more and more, work. Wow. They would every 6 weeks they would lay somebody off because they're trying to make the station profitable. They had in order to find somebody to buy it. So they had cut everything else.
Attrition. Right.
All they could do, the only thing left to cut was people. And then so they would every 6 weeks or so somebody would get fired, or 2 or 3 people, and their work would be placed on somebody else. So by the end of it, man, it was unbelievable. But even then, so they did finally sell it, and the new people came in and they said, "Look, we'd like to keep you. You're a talented guy, but you need to take a 50% pay cut." And I said, I got a family, no thanks. And I had a severance deal in place from CBS that I would have had to waive if I was going to sign on with them. So anyway, all that to say, that's when believe me, there were some long nights of praying and not sleeping and wondering what am I going to do next. And I really felt like I should do the board game business. I felt like God was leading in that direction. And so I took the step of faith and did it. And now in retrospect, it's like, I never would have done it had I not had any other option. Because I quickly discovered after I was laid off at the CBS stations, because we decided we're not moving again. We are not, because I could have got another radio job in another city, but our kids are in middle school. We are not going to uproot them again.
Right.
We're staying here in Denver. So what can I do? I quickly discovered there's not many transferable skills that a disc jockey has. They're not that hireable, especially when you're 55 years old. So it came down to, it's the game business or nothing. I remember watching Tom Hanks, the movie Castaway. He's on an island, and he's like, I got to get at this island. All I have are my own resources. I've got some palm leaves and some debris. I'm going to try to lash this together. I'm going to try to put it all together, and I got to get off. I've got to get past that surf and out into the ocean. But it's my only chance. I got to do it. That's the way I felt. I felt like I got this little laptop. I got some ideas in my head. I got a colored laser printer. It's going to have to work.
Wow.
And it did. And God,
absolutely.
God was faithful. He really was. And I would never, sometimes you got to get to that place where you got no other options. That's the only option you have. And I wouldn't have done it had I not gotten to that place. I can honestly say that. And
the funny thing is, not the funny thing is, that was the passion in your heart.
Yes.
So where you started, you wound up, and God saw the passion in your heart.
And I enjoyed my time as a disc jockey. People sometimes tell me, I was a disc jockey for 30 years. And, I worked at some I worked at WPLJ in New York.
I remember that. Yeah.
PLJ.
Yeah. Back when it was a top 40 station. So I worked at some big stations and I had a really fun radio career. And people tell me, do you miss it? I said, actually, no. I'm having more fun doing this than I was doing radio. So
good for you.
Thanks,
That's
Peter.
a great story.
Good for you. And that is how many total games from Play.com?
Yeah, I actually lose track because there are some games that we don't publish anymore. Some games that are sort of in the hopper. Some games we've introduced briefly and brought and like the Ocho games package, which I guess is still technically there. But I would say we've probably got. I mean, I know we got 12 sports titles and I believe 12 official Play Now titles. But we've got about 30 different games.
Wow. Because I remember explaining it to a friend of mine who has no idea what the gaming is about, and trying to get him started. I give up. Some people just don't click. But he's a dear friend of mine, and I was telling him so he started with this game, and now I said now he has this, so just go take a look. And he called me up. He goes, "That's your friend?" I said, "Well, if you ask me, he's my friend. But if you ask him, no." I said, "Yeah." I said, and he's just got this mind that just
what's impressive. So you have an arsenal of 24 games, but they're all active. You stay. I'm trying to find the right words. Like there are some game developers. They start out doing one thing, and then I'm not knocking anybody, and then all of a sudden they go in another direction with another game, and the first game they did kind of falls to the wayside. Yeah, that doesn't happen with you, Keith.
Well, Joe, I appreciate you saying that. I'm not sure that's 100% true. We have games that like Lacrosse Blast. We don't have that on the site anymore because the interest just wasn't sustainable.
That's different, but.
Well, and we have other games on there like trying to think of specifically. I'm thinking specifically of Cold Snap. The Canadian. We thanks to David Gambrell. David Gambrell's been wonderful in putting together a new season each year, but we don't really support it with past seasons or anything because the interest just isn't there. It just isn't there. So, at some point, I would hate for it to take the same path as Lacrosse Blast did.
Right.
But in the case of Lacrosse Blast, it was like, let's just call it what it is. People just don't really want to play this game.
But that's a business decision. That's based on numbers. I get that. But there are
all the games.
You still boom. You just released another Baseball America, and you have you go in different directions with your key games, with your popular games. Another, you don't abandon them. You say, you're not the kind of guy that says, you know what, I made enough with the baseball. Let me concentrate on baseball.
Right. If the game is on our site, it's either supported or
yes, and that's what I meant by that.
Right. Well, I'll agree with you on that then.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of all the games that we currently have on our. I wouldn't put a game on our site that I wouldn't want to play myself, and I oftentimes find myself thinking, I got to get that out again.
I've heard you say that plenty of times. Yes.
Somebody will post something, and I'll think, man, that looks like fun. I got to get that game out again.
You know what I could use? I could request as a customer, per se.
Go for it.
Another highlight.
Another highlight set?
Not a highlight set. Another players expansion.
Another set of players? Yeah, we could do that. I mean,
I love that game. I know when I first got it, I remember I posted a picture of the Fronton in Bridgeport, and it was one of the first times you came right on my post, and you were like, "Wow, you brought back some memories, Joe." And
it's interesting that sport is so localized. It's in Connecticut, it's in Florida, it was in Vegas, and nowhere else in America. But in those three places, it was quite big, and it still is. I guess in Florida at least.
No, is it? I don't know if it's even still here anymore. Is it?
I don't know. I thought it was.
Now you're gonna make me look later on.
There's some sort of a highlight channel that
I
thought was based in Florida, but
you could be right. Yes.
But anyway, outside of those places, and really that era, it's people don't even know what it is.
It's a fun game. It really is. It is. And when I got the horse race game, what I did was I took the betters from the game and I used them in the horse race game.
We can do that. Yes.
Yeah.
That's funny. That's
Very
funny.
cool. I get a little like, because I love the CFL football and I like lacrosse. I'm really gotten into it. Matter of fact, I'm supposed to go to a game with Ryan Strauss if it ever stops blizzarding over here.
Yeah, I
And
hear it. Yeah.
I don't understand why those two games haven't taken off in this state. I understand in this country because I understand the NFL is like the ultimate to a lot of people. I don't watch it anymore. I think the CFL game is even more exciting. So I love playing it on the table. I don't know.
I totally agree with you. I do not know. I think the CFL has kind of shot itself in the foot by, um, they've sort of become a feeder league for the NFL. They signed an agreement with the NFL years ago, and it kind of relegated them to second tier status. And I don't think today's sports fan, especially, but maybe even years ago, nobody really wants to follow minor league football, or minor league anything really. I mean,
Right.
there's an appetite for it, but it's not a large appetite. And I think I feel like the CFL rule set is pretty unique, and it is a better. I really do think it is a better game with 3 downs.
Mm-hmm.
They made a lot of rules changes lately
Yeah.
that are going to go into effect. That I hear a lot of grumbling about them, but I feel like going to a 100-yard field is probably smart because that was I think the reason that the expansion of the well, there were a number of reasons why the expansion of the U.S. failed, but one of them was that you couldn't fit a 110-yard field into most American stadiums. In a lot of stadiums, they had to kind of cheat a little bit on the end zones.
Right.
So I do think that's a good move, and I think moving the goalpost to the end of the goal end lines is a good move as well. But honestly, the problem is not with the game, and that's what I think. That's where I think the CFL is making a mistake. The problem is not with their game. The problem, I think, is with the people who are playing their game. They need better players. They need more exciting players, and they need they need to price. To get that, they need to spend money. But where's that money going to come from?
Exactly.
Those are not heavily populated cities. It's not.
Yeah.
Canada's not a big country, really. I mean,
Right.
if you look at the statistics, it's not that populous of a nation, and most of it lives along the northern border of the United States, and they like NFL football.
Yeah.
I think they'd be much more interested in getting an NFL team in Toronto. If you had a poll of Canadian sports fans, probably you have an even split between which would you rather have, NFL teams in Canada or continue the CFL. I think it wouldn't be a majority, but I think you'd probably have about a 50-50 split. So I mean, I think the CFL needs better players and a better less of this minor league minor league attitude. I hate to even say that. I don't mean to criticize because I feel like, man, they're up against it. Where's that revenue going to come from?
Yeah. No.
That's
Their
the problem.
hands are
They're in a
tied.
catch
Look at the
22.
salary cap. Look at the salary cap of a CFL team. It's like I want to say it's like $5 million for the whole team.
Right.
Wow.
Imagine that.
Right.
I mean, you got many players in the NFL who make that.
That's a dinner for some of them in the NFL.
We got coaches
So I
that way.
get it. They've got a tough.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
They have coaches make way more than that in the NFL.
If we're brainstorming, I feel like it might have been smart for the XFL and the CFL to have merged. They did talk about that, and have one league that could be like international, and you have to change the name of the Canadian Football League, and then but have 3 down football, because I think having 3 downs really changes the game a lot, and
I love it.
It makes it much more wide open.
Yep.
And,
Yep.
exciting. So I think that's I think that's a product benefit that they have that they don't seem to be able to capitalize on, and they might have been able to do that with an international sort of approach, which is what the NFL is trying to do. I mean, you get
That's what they're trying to do. Yeah.
play in Brazil and
Right.
Argentina. That's smart.
Yes.
So
Yes.
that
And they have the
might-
money to do it
that might
easily.
have been one way to do it.
I
As for
mean,
lacrosse, I don't know what the problem is with
It's
lacrosse.
such a good game.
It's such a great game.
it is.
Go to a lacrosse game, you'll be instantly hooked. It's such a great game, but yet they can't seem to get a foothold.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I do not know why that is.
I don't know. It's unbelievable athletes. Like unbelievable athletes.
Yeah, they get unbelievable skills. They're unbelievable.
Yes. Yep.
The
Yep.
things they can do with the ball and the stick are just amazing. But
Yeah.
New York, the New York team left.
Mhm.
If you can't succeed in New York,
Mhm.
come on.
Yeah, you're in
You know?
trouble.
Yes.
Yeah.
So there's something wrong, but I don't know. I do not know what it is. I really don't.
The one thing I can't get past, I guess I'm showing my age, is how they're constantly playing music in the
They do
indoor.
that in the NBA now, though, too.
Do they?
Yeah.
As they're playing?
Yeah, I went to a Nuggets game, and I believe that I think they were doing that. Yeah.
Wow,
drives
I
me
never
crazy.
noticed that. I mean, I watched a couple NBA games, but I never really noticed.
I could be wrong, but I seem to remember that they did at the Nuggets game that they played.
Wow. Then again, most of the time I'm watching NBA. It's when I'm in Carmelina's room, so the TV's muted. She's like laying behind me, and I just lay in front of her until she falls asleep. So I just mute the TV to watch something. But so maybe that's why. But lacrosse, I watch down here, and the music is blasting through it. I'm like,
yeah, it's awesome. I think it adds to the ambiance, makes it.
Yeah.
I love it.
I'm going to check it out. Like I said, as soon as
You got to go to a game.
the Arctic weather clears up around here.
Definitely.
Yeah, you should go to. You know what you should do is you should go to a game in one of the cities that really supports it, like Buffalo, where you'll be sitting amongst 15 or 20,000 people, as opposed to like Georgia, where they have like 4,000 people in the stands, and it just doesn't feel major league.
Right.
But like the Pepsi, it's not the Pepsi Center anymore. Here in Denver, the Ball Arena, they'll put 15, 20,000 people in there for a Mammoth game, and it feels like you're at a sporting event.
Right. You get the feel.
I thought the Philadelphia team, does. I thought they do well, but don't quote me. I'm not sure, but that would be the nearest place to go to.
Yeah, I think they do okay. I think that's their second incarnation of the Wings. They recently brought that franchise back. I say recently, maybe it was 5-6 years ago. But
okay.
But yeah, I think they support the club pretty well.
And that's the obvious place for me and Ryan. I'd meet him out there because it's not far at all. I think it's about an hour, but I do love the game. So I'm not going to keep you because I know you got to run, but I had a couple of questions that were sent in. Okay.
All right.
And it says, one of them is, do you think the next big leap in sports simulation will come from better data, AI, or from designers rethinking the structure of how we model sports entirely?
Read that again. That's a pretty deep, heavy question.
Yeah, I thought so. I know I couldn't think of this question. Do you think the next big leap in sports simulation will come from better data, which we know is out there, AI, or from designers rethinking the structure of how we model sports entirely? I guess that means the whole game design of it all.
Not sure how to answer that. I'm going to guess. I'm going to say AI. Because AI seems to be what everybody's talking about these days.
Yeah.
And so would it be only natural that if there is, that the next big leap would come in that? I mean, it almost feels like you could get into AI and say, make me a sports board game that does this, blah, 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 blah. I want to get into, I was thinking about this actually the other day. I want to get into ChatGPT and say, I want you to create a football board game that creates accurate statistics and can be played in 30 minutes. Full play.
It'll probably blow up.
Yeah, that's right. I wonder what its response would be, but because that's what everybody wants, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
I want or an NBA game. I want an NBA game that lets me do possession by possession. I want to see every shot. I want to see every rebound. I want to see every free throw. I want to make all the calls, and I want to keep complete stats. I want them to be accurate, and I want it to play in 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
But I wonder what AI would say about that.
Go for it. We could talk about it on another show. Another question was, when you design, are you modeling a sport first or modeling the emotional experience of being alone at the table?
The sport first. I'm not sure what they're getting at there. Because I don't want to answer incorrectly.
Yeah, well, this is
I would interpret that as maybe meaning. So when you sit down and say, okay, I'm going to design a game, but should I pick something that is for solo play? So in other words, they're saying, "Oh, I'm going to design a
No.
baseball game." Yeah, you don't take it. That's how I
No,
take
because
it.
it's about the emotional experience. But I would think that's tied in with the sport and the
Really, Dad?
emotional. When you design, are you modeling a sport first or modeling the emotional experience of being alone at the table? And I took it as, don't that tie in together? Like, because the
Well, I
sport,
mean, emotional experience of being alone at the table. I was stayed with it until they said at the table. I
Mhm.
was thinking it said the emotional experience of being at the sport or watching the sport. That's what I would, and those two do kind of dovetail together. And I would say that it's kind of the same one and the same. I
Mhm.
would say you want to recreate the feel of the sport. You want to get a sense for watching the sport unfold, and you want it to capture the emotional highs and lows that you experience in watching it,
Okay.
and have the trigger points be the same. The same thing that triggers an emotional response in watching a game on TV or whatever, or in person. You want those same emotional trigger points if it can be done. As far as
right?
being alone at the table, that sounds like they're asking about, do I design for solo play first?
That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah. Okay.
Which
Well, I
That's what I
think,
was trying to say.
I think most of these games are played solo, so I do
yeah,
factor that into account. But the first thing, it's got to feel like the sport. In my
Mhm.
view, it's got to feel like the sport, and then translate it to a solo experience.
right. Yeah, if
That's
it
how I
doesn't feel
take
like
it.
the sport, I don't want nothing to do with
No,
it.
right, exactly.
Honestly,
I don't care if it's four players or one player. If it's solo or four, right? It's got to feel like the
like
sport
even
either way.
go to the games you create, like Fury football. That just feels like football.
Yeah.
It's
Well, they
just,
may have meant something else in their question. And maybe I'm not
But I
understanding.
I don't know where
interpreted
they
like you
came from.
did,
They were
Keith.
sent to me,
I
but I
did.
don't know where they
Next
came from.
question.
Okay, last one here was, since the first version of second season football, what's the biggest shift in how you think about designing a sports game?
Since the read it, if you could read it again, please. I'm trying to focus on what you're saying.
Since the first version of second season football, what is the biggest shift in how you think about designing a sports game? Has anything changed the way you design it? I wouldn't think. I mean, other than shifting from ratings to qualities.
Yeah, I think if there's a shift, it would be it wouldn't be in the design of the game. It would be in the accessibility of tools which allow you to more quickly collect data, uh, express that data in cards or team cards or ratings or whatever, by the use of tools,
Right.
computer-based tools. But the design itself, I wouldn't say. I don't think anything's really changed. I always try, like I say, I always try to figure out what's the feel of the sport. What do I want to see when I'm watching it in person, and how can I recreate that in a tabletop game? And that's part of the problem. As we were watching GOAT tonight, this afternoon, the thing about basketball is, you can have a guy do a little walk-in layup that's very nondescript, or you can have Michael Jordan coming from the midcourt line, twirling and spinning, and then
Mm.
midair 20 feet in the air and slams it through, and they're both worth 2 points.
Right.
So from a statistical standpoint, you can create a mechanism, a game mechanic, which will accurately assign those, generate those points. But how do you capture the difference between like a, quick little layup, boring, layup, and this unbelievable, shot that is made?
Right. Right.
That's I think the challenge of basketball, and really the challenge of all sports. I think that articulates the challenge. You want your game to make you feel like, wow, that was amazing.
Now, when you're playing, and for me, as we're having that, as we just had this subject, don't you do it for what in your head? Doesn't your mind create that? Like if it's a big play, you could see a bigger shot come in. You could see Jordan just shaking and baking somebody and just up and in, and Do you get that feeling like when you're playing, it's like, all right, so the game just started. Here's a ho-hum layup. Oh, there's a nice jump shot. Nice three-pointer.
Well, that's what I think Highlight Maker
But-
Hoops, the full play, it does a good job,
I
as
love
best a job as I can do. I mean, I don't know. I'm sure I'm sure there are people that could do a better job of it. But I feel like, what I like about it is, like the underlying qualities will sort of catch that idea of the exclamation point.
Mhm.
Right.
Like
right.
a guy's got defensive reach underlined. It's like, yeah, he just blocked the shot, and bam, it goes down the court, and bam, it's
Right.
It also
right.
has the momentum swings in there.
I
where
love it.
the big dunks generate palpable, palpable extra boost in,
Right.
in,
Mhm.
in
Yep.
what you're going to see right after that. There's like
I love it.
you can feel the rims kind of going like
Yeah.
this. So
I find that too in History Maker Baseball and History Maker Golf. Something, when you get fence and stuff,
Right.
you could almost see the narrative you create really goes to that exclamation point. Like yesterday, we had a new guy. I was showing him history. We were playing History Maker Golf, and let's just say he had to roll a 1 to 3 with a 4, 5, or 6. To me, with 3, and he rolls the 3, and I'm like, it spins around the cup and it goes in.
barely goes in. Yeah.
Right? So you, like Vinny's saying, you create that that extra narrative in your head. See it
Right.
taking shape.
But
Right,
the
where
mechanics
you
of the
spend
game,
chip,
like,
and then you roll a 4. It's like, oh, I'm glad I spent that chip.
Right.
Right. But the mechanics of a game like basketball is a different type of feel, like you were saying. So you created it inside of the cards with the qualities, with the underlines, because it is a spectacular pass that sets up a great basket. It is
Right.
a great defensive play. And a lot of basketball games that you have to just visualize that. You're not going to see that. You might get that big tie-breaking basket, and that's like, oh, wow, that was a big basket.
Well,
But did you really see the
I
tie?
would say, I'm not one to make any kind of comments like that, because I think anybody who's made a sports game has gone out on a limb and deserves a pat on the back.
Oh, yeah. I know. I agree. It's just your games have always been able to tell a story. And there's some,
Yes.
they're out there. You know what I mean?
Basketball games it's hard to make a basketball game. It just is. It just is, because you got a lot of possessions. It's very repetitive.
Mhm.
And, how do you make that interesting? That to me was the main challenge of a basketball game, is how do you make a full play basketball game that does the same thing hundreds of times in a single game? How do you make that interesting and compelling? And so, yeah, it is a big challenge.
Yeah.
That's why I like the highlights version. I like playing the highlights version, because it's like, I'd rather watch an ESPN. I find my sports consumption these days is much more along the ESPN highlight reel. I'm not going to spend 3.5 hours watching a football game anymore. It's like, I'm just waiting for the game's over. I'm going to go to online and watch the 10-minute recap of all the big plays. That's just the way I am. Maybe I'm just getting old, or
Express
my
games.
time is short, and I want to be able to, I don't want to spend 3 hours watching.
Mhm.
Yeah, I
So
get that at times.
And the basketball game, the highlights game, I really feel like that is just the best game.
All right, so everything is in threes, we say, right? So this is the third time this conversation has come up with this game. I had it with Michael Owens. I had it with Jim Weber, who, by the way, got me the 1971 Strat football season I've been searching for 5 years. So we have a trade going. But again, shout out. Thank you, Jim. But the Highlight Maker Hoops came up. So I was like, you know what? I got to get it. So you'll be getting an order this week. I'm going to check it out, because I don't mind those type of games. It's just sometimes I feel like I'm missing this, just that little
It doesn't
bit.
feel like basketball, and that's by design. It's not supposed to feel like basketball. And I put that now in the welcome letter. When you order the game, it says, now remember, this game is not recreating a game of basketball. It's recreating a Sports Center, an ESPN Sports Center highlight reel of the game, and you don't know how it ended.
Okay.
So it's showing you the highlights, and you're going to get, and if you look at it in that context, then I think on the right day, I will say it's the best sports game I've ever made.
Wow.
All right, I'll order that.
I think it's pretty awesome.
When I hang up, and then without revealing anything, obviously, because we love your surprises we're coming out with, but I mean, is it obvious the plan will be to create more seasons for Highlight Maker, Hoops, Prime Time, and they're both the same with the season.
It's just a matter of Vinny. It's just a matter of production time. We've got. I mean, if you do the math, we've got 12 sports games, and we're just talking about the sports games. We're not even going to bring the other games into the discussion. We've got 12 sports games. We've got a current season that you want to release. You've got a fictional season in most cases, and you've got a vintage season. If you do those three, if you do 3 releases, that's 36 releases.
36 releases.
Over 52 weeks. How quickly can you put them together?
Yeah.
It's not like you push a button and a season appears.
No, not
at
yet.
At least not yet.
Yeah.
But and I think even with AI, I think we're far away from that. Anybody who's used AI, and I have used, you have to kind of begin to tinker with it. It's not there yet.
Right.
It still makes mistakes.
Oh yeah.
And you cannot. There's no way you can push a button, spit out a season, and then publish it and sell it. There'll be guarantee. You got to. There'll be mistakes. You have to prove and have to look it over. And so we're not there yet. So that circling back, it's just a time factor. It's just me, and I have a lot of help from people who will create ratings sets, like Michael Owens. He does the basketball sets, and if I begin naming them all, there's quite a cadre of folks who will create the data, but that's only half the battle, and that part is getting faster. It's the creation of the card set, the creation of the web assets, the promotion of the set. That's all time consuming, and it's just a matter of how much time is available.
And what's funny?
I do as many as I can.
Yeah, you do a good job.
It seems like it tops out at about 25, 30 releases a year.
That's a lot. That's a lot for 36.
I didn't realize that.
Out of 30, out of 12 games for 12 games. That's a nice ratio.
Yeah. And that's why our Play Now games don't get the love that they really deserve, because I'm busy making the sports games.
And your fictional is like really taking off. So
yes.
Yeah.
The funny thing is, as I ask these questions, and because I am a game buyer, I won't say I'm a collector. I got to know that I have that when I want it. I don't even play them all yet. I haven't even played them all. So it's like, you should be saying, did you get through these seasons that you already have? If not, shut
exactly.
up. I'll get to it when I get to it.
Ben, how many nights, what you're saying, how many nights we say, which I'm thinking about buying something. I'm on Keith's site or on this, and I'm like, I got 32 seasons of hockey I haven't even touched, and I'm looking to buy my 33rd.
It's a sickness, Keith. It's a sickness we have. It's a good sickness. Nobody's dying from it, but it's a sickness. Like I have almost
that's
every
fear of
season.
missing out. Fear of missing
you got it.
Is that what it is?
Yes, I agree.
I don't know.
Listen, I'm playing the 61. I'm playing the 61 Continental. I'm thinking about buying the 74 because I'm afraid he's going to pull it. It's
no, I'm not going to pull a 74.
No, but it is the fear of missing out. You're right.
Yeah. I have more seasons than I'll ever play. But listen,
we are all in that same boat, Vinny.
Mm-hmm. It's a good position to be in.
I embrace it so much. I get this feeling like, and I've shared this a lot, I just embrace every role, every card, and the friendships. And you are one of them.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you have to run, or I would keep you here. I know you do. Give everybody my love.
Yes.
Thank you so much again. I so appreciate you doing this, because I
really
do
appreciate you coming on. Really do.
Oh, my pleasure. Love you guys. You guys take care, all right?
Love you too. Bless you.
See you soon, buddy.
Talk to you later.
You take care.